The last sourdough journey that I did was a struggle, to say the least. So I'm trying again. Last night I fed my sourdough starter and I put it in the pantry, and now we're gonna take it out and see if it rose. It did. That's where I put the rubber band. That's how much it rose. It's already going better than my other journey because this time it actually rose. Now I cleared out my scale with my bowl and I'm gonna measure out 200 grams of my starter. Last time I did 100 grams, so I decided I'm gonna try and double the recipe and see what happens. Then I'm gonna add 400 grams of water. $3.99, that's as close to perfect as I can get it. And now I'm doing 600 grams of flour. The bread flour, King Arthur bread flour. But the last loaf that I made didn't really rise. So I'm hoping I know how to fix the rising problem. I think last time I didn't let the dough get warm before I put it in the oven. I read online that you didn't have to do that, but I think that's wrong. Now I'm gonna be measuring out 12 grams of salt and pouring it into my bowl. Now I'm just gonna start mixing all of the ingredients together. Now I'm gonna be sprinkling some all-purpose flour on the counter so that I have an area to take out the dough and do the stretch and folds without it sticking to the counter, which is one of the mistakes that I made last time. And this time I'm gonna have flour on my hands because it also just stuck to my hands last time. Oh my goodness. I'm having a hard time getting it out is the problem. Okay, now we're just gonna be stretching out the dough and folding it. Just completely stretch it. I don't know if this is the right way to stretch dough, but it's the only way that I know how to do it. I'm now coating the bowl with a little bit of oil so that the bread doesn't stick too bad. But doing it with a paper towel so that there's not too much oil, you know? And take my loaf and plop it in the bowl. I'm gonna cover this bowl and let it sit for 1 hour. Okay, it's been an hour. I've uncovered my dough, and now we're gonna do the stretch and folds. Just gonna lift the dough and fold it. And you want to kind of like pull it away from the edges because it sticks a little bit. I'm gonna pull the dough and fold it. Just pretty much on every single side. Pull and fold, and one more. Oh my goodness, except the bowl runs away from me is the problem. Pull and fold. Covering it back up for 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna do that again. Okay, it's time for the second stretch and fold. Okay, remember we're gonna do it from all 4 sides. Stretch and fold. They say you wanna do these because they're more of a vigorous fold, and we're gonna do these before the coil folds, which will be next. I'm not really sure how many stretch and folds you're supposed to do. I think this is gonna be my last one, and then I'm gonna move on to the coil folds. Normally I would let this sit for 30 minutes and then do some coil folds, but my friend's coming over and we're gonna go lay out by the pool. So I think I'm gonna let it sit for a while and then do some coil folds and see if that completely messes up the loaf. Only one way to find out. So now I've let this sit for a few hours while I was at the pool. It has grown enormously. There's a lot extra, but now it's time to do the coil folds. So, oh no. You're gonna take the dough. Okay, wait, I'm really struggling. I don't remember how to do this. Oh, okay. Yes, you're gonna take the dough on either side, lift it up without breaking it. Oh my God. Wow, this is actually a lot better than my first one. I don't think that was right. Okay, we're gonna do it again. You wanna lift it up in the middle. Oh my goodness. Well, these are not really the best coil folds. I think it's because I did a double amount of the batch today. It's sticking to the bowl. It's pretty much to make the dough fall in half. Okay. I'm gonna let that sit for 30 minutes and do it again. All right, I'm doing my second coil fold. I'm just gonna cut it down the middle. So now this one, I'm gonna spread it out. Okay, well that didn't work. This one, they say you want it to be, I'm gonna make one that's a ball. But I don't know how to make a ball. I think I'm just gonna roll it up and shape it. I don't know how to do this. Is this a ball? I didn't think I would make my... I feel like the circular ones are typically for in the Dutch oven. But I like to do the pan bread because it creates easier sandwich making bread, you know? I want to be able to slice it and put a sandwich on it. Although the last one I didn't do that. But I did do slices and I put jam on it. I'm just gonna place my circular ball of dough. Oh no. There. It's definitely not gonna be so ball shaped in the morning. It's gonna be flat, so I'm probably gonna have to revamp it up. Now this one I'm gonna spread out a little bit flatter again. Now what you're gonna do, you're gonna fold it again. I'm trying the same method from last time. You fold a corner in, you fold the next corner in, you take the sides that you rolled out and you kind of roll the sides in and fold it. And take this side and fold it in. And then from this way, the sides that you have tucked in, you're going to roll. Almost like a little croissant. Okay, that looks really bad. These breads might not be shaped very well when I make it. And I guess I'm flopping it in here. Well, now I have 2 loaves. It's the worst shaping that I've ever done. I don't know if they're gonna turn out good. I don't know, I'm a little bit concerned for these 2 loaves, but I'm gonna cover them, put them in the fridge, and see what happens in the morning, I guess. I've taken my 2 loaves out of the oven. I've allowed them to sit on the counter for about 45 minutes to come to, not fully room temperature, but just to warm up a little bit. I'm now preheating the oven to 475 degrees. And while it's preheating, because I'm using a tin and not a Dutch oven, I'm gonna be putting a little pan with a little bit of water on the bottom, inside on the bottom shelf. That allows some steam while it's cooking, and I'll add ice when I put the bread in to kind of create that steam. It helps the crust not to dry out too quickly or to harden too quickly, and it provides like an airier loaf from what I've heard. Since these tins don't have like a cover, they're just open. All right, it is preheated. I'm putting the 2 loaves of bread in the oven and dumping some ice in the water. Now I'm setting a timer for 20 minutes and then I'm gonna take the water out of the oven and continue to cook the bread for 10 more minutes until the temperature on the inside of the bread has reached 190 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, 30 minutes later, I'm taking them out. Look at the 2 loaves. Oh my goodness, they look perfect. They didn't rise like a crazy amount. I mean, they did. They rose more than the first loaf that I attempted. They're crispy and hard and perfect. I'm gonna let them cool down for a little bit and then I'm gonna cut into them and see what the inside looks like. All right, it's time to cut into them. I don't know if I want to go right in the middle, but I want to go right here where I can see it. Airier than the first one, I can feel it already. Look. Oh my God, it's perfect. All right, now we're cutting into the second one just because out of curiosity, I cannot just not cut it, even though they're probably gonna be the same on the inside. Ready? Oh my goodness, it's two perfect loaves. I can't handle this. I'm eating this without butter or anything because it's just so good that I want to really appreciate the taste of the bread. Warm. Oh, it's amazing. Now that I know I can do like an almost perfect normal sourdough, I'm gonna start experimenting and maybe do a cheddar jalapeno loaf, or I don't know, I need some other ideas. So follow along if you want to see some more sourdough loaves now that I kind of know what I'm doing, ish.